everyone, and welcome to today's episode of the vlog. So today is D-Day. What do I mean by that? First drive day. So today we're going to get the ID3 on the road around the block just to give it a bit of a shakedown so we know what issues we have to deal with, because we are able to clear most of the codes now, and so the car's looking good, but those codes will come back if there's an issue with the car when we drive. So we need to take it out on that first drive just to settle the car down and see what else we need to do. But before we do that, there's a few things that we need to fit on the car. So back bumper needs to go on. Want to see if we can get the front wing aligned better. So let's get those jobs done first before we get on the road. Okay, so welcome back to the ID3. So let's give you some progress, an update. This episode we are going to take the car for its first drive. There's a couple of things that we need to do. Number one, I am going to attempt to sort this side out. In other words, get it to needs to be slightly closer, and I think this column here needs to be pushed, so we're going to use this wall and then push it in there. I had Neil come out. So Neil is my body shop guy who did the Tesla. He had a look at this, and he is actually going to do the work for me. So he's a brilliant welder. He just welded a whole side of one of my good friend's car. In fact, it's a transit van. Put a whole new side on it, so I know he can do the job. So he had a good look and he's happy with what needs to be done here. So he's going to give me a price for that, and then the car will be going off to him. But what we're going to do just to help is we're going to push this back out a little bit. I don't know, Neil couldn't do it. The more I do in terms of pushing, it means the less that he has to do. And what we found was, if I put this light in place, what I found was that there's a bit of a gap there where the light meets the, you can see the gap there, where the light meets the actual body. So we need to push this out this way. So we're going to do that today. See how we go with that, and then we're going to push this out here with my body fuller. Just push this out so we can bring it back to where it should be. And that means the more we do, the less Neil has to do, and it means that the less cost it's going to be for me. And then Neil's going to sort this piece out as well, because obviously this needs to be pulled out, but he's going to do that with his dozer. And then when we do that, we should hopefully be able to get the bumper in a semi-decent place, if that makes sense. And then yeah, that's the plan for today. And then obviously get the car off the ramp and get it over to Neil. We need to take the back seats out because Neil wants us to do that, so I will get that done, but maybe not on camera. Just strip it down to make it as easy for him to be able to take on. All right, so first thing we're going to do, get this pulled out here and take it from there. Right, so what we've done, we have pushed it out a little bit more. So essentially we've still got a bit of a gap, but it is a smaller gap. And I'm not trying to fix this, by the way. I am literally just trying to get this so that I can get the lights mounted and then close the hatch without fouling the light. At the moment it hits the light when it comes down, so we're just gonna bolt it up and see if we can make it work. All right, so let's see if that works now that we've pushed this out a little bit. This is going to get done properly by Neil when he goes in the body shop. He'll get his dozer and he'll pull all of this area out, but for now I just need to get it so that the lights mount. Right, let's see. Okay, so that's kind of worked. That's literally bolted right up, no brackets or anything in there. It's in firm. It's not in properly. Well, it isn't properly, but you can see that it needs some movement because there's a big gap there. I'll show you. But what it's not doing at the moment, almost crushed my phone. Let's move that out of the way. What it's not doing now is fouling the light. So before, when I did that, it basically hit the light, but now, as you can see, it doesn't. It's not hitting the light at all, which is good. But you can see this gap here, which is about as big as the San Andreas fault. So it obviously needs some movement to bring that back in line. Plus there's a gap there as well that needs to be brought in as well. So that's what Neil will take care of. My job is just to make sure that this doesn't foul when we're driving, so I can take the car down to his workshop. But that bolt went on just fine, so I'm going to take this off now and plug in the cable, and then we'll be able to see how the bumper looks like it's going to fit on here. We've got all these sensors, but I'm not going to bother plugging them in. There's no point, because the bumper's got to come back off again, and it really doesn't need to be functional. It just needs to work to allow me to drive legally with lights and all the rest of it. So yeah, so let's get that off, plugged in, and then we can then off-road the bumper. Right, okay, so this bit here is this here. So essentially, you got the end here we've got to take off, and we've got to take that off, and this goes in place. So what we want to do is kind of fit it so that the bumper's got something to grab hold of. So it's not going to obviously sit here because we've lost this fold here, but what it should do is give us enough to hold the bumper in place so that we can drive it around. So let's take these two off, put this on, and then see how it looks. Okay, that's the best we can do because it's all bang out of shape. So let's see if we can fit the bumper now, and just see how it looks on that corner. But yeah, interesting. Needs lots more work. All right, bumper time. Right, okay, so bumper is in. So what we've done is we have screwed it in here so it's secured, and then there's a couple of bolts underneath there that we will do. So this is going nowhere. I took the bracket out because it was actually preventing it from going in. So without the bracket it actually fits better, believe it or not. So the main thing is that the boot does open and close, which is good. We haven't fitted the parking sensors in. We've left them out because the bumper's got to come out, so there's no point putting those in. And we've done exactly the same on this side as well. So we've secured it using that side, that screw there. Keep that in place. Just popped out. So, and it opens up as well, which is good. Now it's not quite sitting right there, but again, not really bothered because this needs to be pulled out so that this will then align up a lot better. But for now it is secure and it is in place, and most importantly it closes without fouling anything, and that's the most important thing. So we are almost ready for our first drive. I've just got to do a little bit of work on the front here, and what I'm going to do is take off this front bumper again and then just push this post in just in a little bit, because this is really tight and it's causing this to be tight as well. The post that secures this is secured to that post there, so if we push that in, it means that, I'll show you actually, let's just make sure there's nothing fouling the bumper. It's just not, he says there is. Right, I'll come back and I'll shut the bonnet and I'll show you what I mean. Right, so with the bonnet closed, hopefully you can see what I mean. So you see that gap, that's quite a big gap. That should be a lot tighter than that. And this wing, you can see it's difficult to see at this angle, but this needs to come in, and this wing is pushed up against that post as far as possible, which means that the only way that this can go in tighter is for me to push that post in. So we're going to do that. This side is okay, although that side does look like a bit the same as well. But definitely on this side you can definitely see a very clear gap on that side. So I'm just going to unbolt the wing, etc, etc, and then we're going to push that post in using my pulley, and then hopefully that will allow this to sit better. So we'll do that. Right, so we're just going to push this in. We want to push it in about a couple of mil really. So we're going to give it a very slight push, and then we're going to measure the distance from there to there to see how we're getting on. Okay, so that's about it. Right, I think that's done. We can now start to let's stick it together now and see how she looks. Hopefully that means that this end now will now bolt together nicely. Right, so the wing is now in and it is fitting much better this time. This is much closer together, so we are happier. So we'll give that a fit and see how we go. We'll fit it from this end and then we'll come round and fit the bumper on that end. Then we'll see if that's a better fit. Okay, let's do this. Right, so this side's fitting much better now, much better. Actually, this side here has got a bigger gap, would you believe? Incredible. And this is the good side. Anyway, the main thing is this went in a lot more comfortable. It's still not quite tight, so there's still some adjustment that needs to be done. There is a bolt that goes behind as well that will knit things up, but we just need to work on that. But this is definitely fitting better, which is good. I need to adjust the actual lid hinge so that it sits further down, but at this stage I'm not really bothered. It's just more of a case of getting this line right. Okay, so that is great. It's looking good. I think we're about ready for our first drive. Let's get some number plates on, and then yeah, I think we're good to go. Okay, back in the car. We're going to go for our first drive now. So we're going to turn the car on. And as we can see, just the proactive thing is not working. Our sound generator still got problems, but we'll see if we can fix that. But that fuse is definitely blown. But other than that, you can see our camera at the top here. That's now working. It's we've lost that issue, so it's literally just a couple of things. So let's see what first drive takes us. We're gonna go up a hill just to make sure the car can climb, and then we're just gonna go around the block. All right, so let's take this out for our first drive now. So we're gonna stick her into gear. I wind the window down, and we're ready, we're off. Now the steering is way out, we're going to have to get that sorted. But our main thing at the moment is just to see if she drives okay. Steering feels fine. Pulls nicely. I can definitely feel that the tracking is definitely out. But the car did have a whack, but in terms of braking, it's braked just fine. Okay, here we go. We are going to take it easy for its first drive over our first speed ramp. Got a nice bit of acceleration on here as well, like you would expect from a car like this. The brakes are really rusty on this as well, so just gonna take it easy. You can hear the wheels rubbing because they're out of track. ESP is out, front wheel assist is unavailable, and this is the whole point in getting this drive system error. Yeah, it's picked up loss of pressure detected. Dashboard is lighting up like a Christmas tree, and this is the reason why we do these first test drives, so we can figure out what's going on. But I don't think, and none of these are serious errors. I know that we've got a bit of a tire pressure loss in one of our tires, so we do need to sort that out. So we'll run a diagnostic when we get back, and then we'll see what we will pick up on that. Okay, we're doing the hill climb now. Now, I don't know whether the GPS has picked up that we're in a 20 zone, but when I got to about 22, the car wanted to brake, which is quite interesting. Alright, we're going down the hill now. This is a narrow lane. Don't know where it's got that from, but oh, it's picked up the school sign, so the camera is definitely working. Good. Okay. So far, so good. Right, now we'll just get back in. Say hello to the neighbours. stick her into reverse. Okay, I'm too used to driving a Tesla. I'm just trying to stick the stalk on the left there. Alright. And that's it. Test drive done. So there's a few little issues that we need to sort out, but again, nothing serious. Just more sensors than anything. But in general, I'm pretty pleased with that. That's gone pretty well. Okay, so first drive now taken care of, and there's a few things that we need to sort out. So all the dashboard lighting up, you can hear all the pings in the background when we did that first drive. They were all to do with the steering being out. So because the steering is at 90 degrees rather than straight, the car is having a job trying to work out where it should be positioning basically, if the steering wheel is not straight, which it isn't, then the car doesn't know whether the sensors or the reading it's getting from the sensors are correct. So what it does, it disables the ESP, the ABS, etc., because it can't rationalize where the steering is. Because when you connect the battery up, what happens is that you do a full turn to the left of the steering wheel and then a full turn to the right, and that tells the car how much steering geometry or where dead center is. And because when we're driving the car, the steering wheel, I'm having to turn it like it's going around a corner, then the car is not expecting that reading, so it basically turns off those features so it doesn't activate them inadvertently. So we need to get that sorted, and that's simply just sorting out the tracking. So once we get that sorted, that will fix that. The sound actuator, I did change the fuse because the fuse was blown, but we're still having problems with that. So it might be a problem with the unit itself. Now, the plug that goes around it is actually broken as well, but I can still plug it in regardless of those plugs. So yeah, we'll have to have a look at that one and see what it is. I have actually tested the cabling to see if any of the cables are broken, and it doesn't seem to be that. But other than that, first drive was pretty successful. So now we just gotta wait for Neil to call the car in so we can get that repaired, and once we get that repaired, that will put us into a much better place. So what's next? Well, I'm taking my Tesla on Tuesday to get the MCU upgraded, because now I'm using the car for supercharging. Well, it means that I'm spending time at charging stations, and the MCU1, the browser doesn't work. So that might be next week, or we may continue with the car, depending on what happens. So stay tuned, and you'll see what happens on our next episode. But thank you for viewing this. Look forward to your comments. And of course, don't forget to subscribe if you are a casual viewer, because we need those subscriptions, everyone. So if you are a casual viewer and you like what you see, then subscribe, and it costs you nothing. And then don't forget to click on that bell notification as well. So I hope you have a good week, and we will see you in the next one.